All right, so we're going to pick it up. It's building your website, and I'm going to show you some websites, and then we're going to talk about how they work and what you need to do to make sure they're okay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. That'll be the first step here. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We'll see what we can do to work through this. This is one of the agents that's sending me the link to hers, so we can take a look at it, right? And if you look at it up here at the top, it has her name, one.remax.com. You can have that, or you can have a different one. The URL that you choose is totally up to you. And I'm going to show you a couple things that you might be able to do with that so that you can personalize it. What you need to do, in my opinion, as a new agent, is have your own URL. Nobody else owns it. So like this one, for example, Remax owns that, right? And that's okay. It works, but it doesn't cost that much to get your own. Now this on her site, and she's not in here to defend herself, so I'm not gonna go crazy on it, but when you look at it, there's no reviews. So you can add reviews to this yourself. If you have something in writing from somebody that says, hey, this is what we have. You notice she has featured listings. She has an open house on here, but there's nothing else. Now, I'm going to talk about that specifically because I don't think that's going to benefit her in the long run, right? So we'll cover some of that. And then you have get the app. You have some other things on here. Down here on the bottom, you see where it says Trek information and brokerage services, or information about brokerage services, and Trek consumer protection notice. The consumer protection notice, Remax puts on there for us, or Remax Regional does. It's already there, right? Everybody should have that one. And this is what it should look like. So as soon as you go into your website, that should already be there. However, the IEBS is up to you to load, and I'll show you where you do that at. But you want to make sure you upload the correct one, completely filled out, just as she has here. Right? You want everything done the way it's supposed to be done, which is an awesome setup on that aspect of it. All right, so here's another one. This is from South Padre Island. This is Norma Turkington. And you notice up at the top, it has Sell SPI. So she has her own URL, and that's what I was talking about. There's a difference between that one and this one, and this is hers, right? So if for some other reason this went down or she decided to go do something else, she can always redirect that on her own. Having your own URL is really, really important in my opinion. But anyway, it starts off with where you can do a search, which is actually really good for the buyers, right? So they can do a search right from the get-go. There's some things we can do to add to that. She has her social networks in here, right? So you can set those up where it's a feed. It works really well. Your bio, the video. This video is a Remax video, but at least it's a video, right? I will share with you some ways to add yours in there instead of using Remax's, where you just create your own and do that. Now I'm going to click on her information about brokerage services, and you'll see that it'll come up and it has the completed one on here as well, right? That's what we want on there. Want it all completed and done, ready to go. All right, so just a few others, just real quick. You notice the tops of these are all different. Every one of these is a little different. So it's up to you how to do that. And this can be done on Canva, or you can take whatever they have in the system. And in Sarah's case, she doesn't have her social media on here, but she does have her contact me and her other information. And again, no reviews, no real links to social media. This is at least she has a website up there, but we could tweak this a little bit. On Cecilia's, we have, notice that top on this one. Look at that, right? Talk about personalized. That is awesome. And when you look at this, what do you think she focuses on? It starts off with a seller's guide right here, right? Now, if that was clickable, it would be awesome, but it's not. And there is a block where we can make that clickable, or a way to make that clickable, so they can get a guide on how to sell their home and set that up for them. But I love the time that she took the time to develop this header here on this page and put this in here, which is absolutely fantastic. It will get more business for her in the long run. And then it changes out, which is actually, this is where the guide is showing up. It's showing up as slides instead of as a PDF, which is why it's not clickable up here at the top. So you can have either one of them. Featured listings, marketing your property. So she's focusing on the listing side, right? And that works. There's some things we could do down here on the bottom for sure, but the top is awesome. Love that. And then here's Terry's. This is Terry Sipes, and she has her page in here, right? Has her social media in here. You have all the stay connected, so that works. There's all kinds of ways they can reach you. Right over to her Facebook business page. Again, we have the typical Remax video. We could upload our own to make that work, make it a little better. And then we have our IABS. So again, all of these have their IABS on them, and they're all set up the way they're supposed to be. So we don't have any problems on any of those. Any questions about any of those pages? All right. So every one of these, I meant to point out, Terry actually has Terry Sipes Realtor is her actual domain name. So if you actually click on, or if you plugged in terrysipesrealtor.com, it'll actually go to this, and that's pointing a page. That's what that is. You can point those and make them come up that way, right? So that works real well. All right, so here's where we get started at. You're going to go to the Max Center and log in. And this is where if you're taking notes, this is the part that is extremely important, because this is the base for everything we do. Max Center, MAX, Remax.net. Remax.net is the site. You log in, and here I'm logged in as my wife because I want to be able to show you some of the stuff and how it works specifically. So the very first thing you're going to do is go in here, you're going to update your profile. And when you update the profile on this, there's some key items we need to look for. One is you should absolutely have your photo already on there. That should have been one of the first things. Then we're going to go to general information. So we can look at the overview and see what we think about, is everything there, kind of. But if you go to the general information, you have your information there, and then you have your contact information. On the contact information, you can add, this is where we add our social media sites. So please hear this. This is Max, what we refer to as Max Center, right? Remax.net. This is your profile there. In a minute, we're going to look at your profile on the website, or Buiding, if you will, right? They're two separate systems, but yet they're together. This one feeds that one, but they're used differently. This one is where you get leads from, as far as like Remax.com or from within the company. This is where if somebody goes to the global network and does a search for an agent in the area, this is going to pop up. That's what this is for. Or if they go to the referral network, this is going to pop up. So this is the profile that's really big on the public side as far as finding you as an agent. This is really, really important for finding you as an agent, right? That's what this is for. So one of the things, just to give you an example right here, I'm going to add an agent website. I'm sorry, an agent website. And to do so, oops. Just so in case some of you have never done this, just want you to see how easy it is to do this. So this is our website. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here at the top, and I'm going to, if you click it 3 times, it highlights, and you just copy it. Then you come back over to the Max Center, and you type or put that in here and set that as your primary website, and click Save. Now, see, again, we have a domain name that doesn't say Remax, but that domain name is set up to point to the Remax website. It wasn't that way 2 years ago. It was set up to point to our separate website. So we were running both of them, and I brought them both together, just save some money and et cetera. The other thing I want to show you while we're doing this, for those of you that are paying attention at the very top of this, one of the big things that we're running today and keeping that's staying really hot in marketing is QR codes. So if I was marketing, doing a postcard or a flyer or an open house or something like that, or even maybe even the back of my business card, I'd click on this little arrow right here where it says share the page. And I'm in Chrome is what I'm in, where it says share the page, and I create a QR code. That QR code will take you right to this website. So that QR code would be on everything we do. If I did a just listed postcard, just sold postcard, open house flyer, all of that's going to be here. Now, to be honest about it, I would probably make it property specific because that's just the way I do business. So what I would probably do is I would go here to a property and then pull that QR code. Because now if you scan that QR code, it's going to bring you right to this specific property, which is the whole idea behind this. Anyway, I just want to share that with you as we're doing this and setting this up. Right here, so we're on setting up our profile and getting that stuff set up correctly. And we just added the website, and all your social media needs to be in here. That's the best. Remember, this is people trying to find you, decide whether they want to use you or not, off the referral network, off of remax.com, etc. And so here where it has type, you can see it has Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all the stuff in here that you, whatever you have, right? TikTok, Snapchat, all that's in here. And you just click save. And that way, just like it was, I think it was Norma Turkington, you see how she has all of her social media sites all set up here? That all carries over, right? That's what we want to have happen. Doesn't really, actually, it doesn't carry over. I mean, this is for the other side of it, but it's the same type of thing. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. All right, so that's your contact information. Photos, pretty self-explanatory. Professional details. On the professional details, any specialties you have, and you can have whatever you want as your specialty. You can have that, right? Just make sure that it's honest. For example, on Norma, she had specialties, investment, LP, not sure what that is, and conventional. And first-time home buyers on Sarah and Diana has several on here, luxury, rent, right, relocation. So you make those decisions on what you want to go in here as far as your specialty. You make that decision. Just make sure it's honest. And then designations, as you get designations, you'll want to add those in here so they're set up. Any questions there? All right, so then over here we have the office. We have the office set up, and on the office areas, service areas, you and I cannot change that. That is strictly set up by the office, and we want to make sure that we leave it like that. We don't mess with it in any way, shape, or form. However, if this area is not something you necessarily specialize in, or it's an area that you're in, but you also want the surrounding areas. Then down here where it says additional service areas, you can add up to 5 additional service areas in here. So on these additional service areas, please do not make them the same thing as what the office has. Make them something different. If you don't want additional service areas, don't put them in there. But I have to tell you from years of experience, additional service areas are not going to hurt you as long as they're fairly close, right? I'm not going to plug in San Antonio because that would be silly. Even though I could legally do it, the broker says you stay in your geographic area. That's not a good thing for me to do, right? Make sure you add the additional service areas in here so that you have that set up. And again, we're trying to, if an agent goes in someplace and says in Remax.net, for example, and it says, I'm trying to look for an agent in Donna, Texas, this one's going to pop up because that's what we have flagged in here. If you don't have that and they were to plug in Donna, you may still, because you may be the only one in the general area, right? It's going to do a specific search and then go out. And we want to make sure that we have that somewhat together. Any questions on that one? That's pretty important. All right. Then you plug in your personal details, which is your bio, any education you may have, any civic activities you've been involved in, your hobbies, right? And that's why she never works. Look at that, all those hobbies. And any languages you may have that you speak. If you speak another language, plug it in there. I've seen people on Facebook say, hey, I need a Spanish-speaking agent in Corpus Christi or whatever, something like that. And if you speak another language, plug it in there. I know agents that speak 5 different languages. Not me. I have a hard enough time with English, but we'll make that work. So plug those in. So again, you're trying to be found. Any questions? So this is the Max Center, Remax.net, and all we did was we clicked on the profile to get us started there. Is everybody okay? Questions? All right. So then if we're building the website, why is that important? Well, when we come over here, again, this is back to the Max Center, right? And we click on website, which is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to log into Max Center, Remax.net. You're going to click on website. The first thing I want you to do with this is, once you've done that, is I would like for you to, give me just a second. Let me show you this. On here, you see where it says mobile branding?
Recording in progress.
All right. How about? That's still echoing on your side? Patty, is that echoing on your side?
No, sorry, it's not.
Okay. All right. So what I want to show you on here is this. You notice right here where it says mobile app branding. The way this is set up is if a buyer sends you a if a buyer says they want to get in touch with you or they're looking for a house or whatever, this is your opportunity. And what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen with you so you can actually see this. So what's going to happen is if a buyer says they want to see something or they want to talk to you about a property or they want to, you to help them, if you put their number in where it said mobile app branding, you put their number in and you hit text, they'll get a text like what's on the screen right here. And when they click on it, it's going to open up, it's going to take them to the Remax app. I already have it installed because I've used this so many times, but just to show you what it does. This is, you may Joe at HEB, this is what you can send him right here off of the mobile app branding that we're just talking about. And this, if he logs into this and creates his account, then every time he needs something, every time he does something on here, you're going to get notified of it. You'll have favorite properties and everything else. So if I bring a property up and make it a favorite, if I was logged in, it would register that as my favorite. So you as an agent would see that. So this mobile app is absolutely fantastic for helping you track your clients and work with them. Any questions on that one? All right, so that mobile app that we were just talking about, on the mobile app we were just talking about, that actually goes into, once again, this page right here. This is where I would plug that person's number in, and then hit text, right? And it would send in that text that we just looked at. They click on the link, they can create a login, and that's their app for everything real estate. Pretty cool. And it allows you to see it on your side as far as what they're doing as well. So it's designed to help keep them focused on you, keeps them on your site, right? So that's one of the first things we want to make sure that we actually have set up so that works for you. And then on this one, you notice here it says it has the domain name and it has unpublished. So this website is live, right? And I showed you that earlier. That's this one, except for we're just using a different domain name, right? It's the same one. Find it. There we go. And that's what we want to work off of. So here are the settings for this on this website. You go underneath your picture in the upper right-hand corner. So you've done the settings on the Mac Center. Now we're going to come into Buiding and do the settings here. And when you do this, what we want to do is we want to go to the settings page. And one of the first things we want to do is, where are we at? Okay, we want to do a contacts and leads. You want to make sure that you have your contacts and leads set up. This will automatically import your contacts if you have any already established in homes.com or any of that good stuff. If not, you don't need to worry about it. But again, if you come over here and go to contacts and leads, what I want to do is from here is I want to talk about the notifications. You notice here on the right-hand side where it has the text messages. You want to be able to use that. And I'll show you why in just a minute, but having that text message is so important. So again, we went underneath the picture, went to settings, went to general settings and contacts and leads. You go to notifications, that's where we're at. And then below that, you have your email, import, export. If you are using Microsoft or Google, you can actually import all your contacts into this system so that we can use it that way. And again, that's a separate, we'll do that separately, but I just wanted to make sure that since we're here, you know about it. And then we also want to look at integrations. I'm sorry. There you go. Offered leads. When we look at offered leads, on offered leads, here we are again with zip codes or areas. The difference between this and what we did earlier is this is the leads that you're going to receive again from remax.com and etc. Right? They're going to come in through Buiding, through this system. We want to make sure this is all set up so that we have that information out there. And then what kind of properties are you actually trying to market to? So this, again, this is marketing, right? Pushing systems out there. What kind of leads do you want? So if somebody came in and plugged in 78550 and one of these types, then I'd get that lead, or she would get that lead, right? If you don't want to work with rental properties, you can take that off. select the type of leads you would like to receive. On the right-hand side, you can actually set up a price range. I wouldn't recommend that, but I know there's agents that do. And that's entirely up to you. I had an agent I worked with years ago that she would only take leads if they were over 150,000. Otherwise, she didn't mess with them. That it's your business, you make that call. Here's why, when we were talking about the notifications, I said, make sure your text messages are on here, right? Because over here on offered leads, your number is going to be down here in the bottom. Plug your number in so that if a lead comes in, you get notified via text, because you only have 15 minutes to work that lead. If you don't make contact with that lead, it goes to somebody else. If that lead has said they have selected you as their agent, again, it has some power to it, but we want to make sure they get taken care of, right? And that's just the Remax system. If it is your listing, then, and they come to you, then that's a different ballgame. It stays with you. All right, so just keep that in mind as you're working through those. So please, profile settings, go to notifications and the offered leads. Questions? All right, so then we'll go to the website. When you go to the website, we're going to go to the website settings, and on the web, because there's 3 settings right there, right? We've had the Max Center, and we had the Buiding settings, and now we're in the website settings. This is your website. This is your website. And so how do you want the settings set up for agent reviews? You want the oldest review first? You want the newest review first? What do you want? It's entirely up to you. And that only matters if they're coming from third parties like Zillow and etc. That's the only way it's going to make a difference. Here is something that's pretty important. User options. Actually, it's really important, because on user options, you can have it relaxed where anybody can look at your website anytime they want to, which is the way I like it personally, but that's just me. There's agents out there, some of the top agents, Lucas is one of them, where his website is restricted. If you click on a property on his website, you can spend a little bit of time looking at it, and then it's going to ask you to fill out a contact information, right? Name, phone number, email address. If you go to click on another property, it's going to ask you to fill out this information. And it's based on your IP address. A lot of systems are set up that way. It will not let you do anything else until you fill out that information. I don't like that. I've never liked that. I talked about it, learned about it back in about 2002. I've never done that, but I can see some benefits. If you have everything set up where you're capturing that information and you're doing something with it, it can be beneficial, but you have to make that decision. And then here, the About Me featured listings. So what do you want featured? What do you want featured out there on the About Me featured listings? So these are listings. These are listings that are going to show up maybe on your website, right? For example, but you have to make some decisions here again. So which type do you want? Like in our case, we'd say probably single family, farm and land, maybe multifamily, depending on what it is. And the status is for sale. Anything that's for sale. So we'll pump those out there. And then sort newest or highest. People want to know that they're looking at the most recent homes on the market. So you have to make a decision how you want to do it, but newest homes would be first, in my opinion. And then over here, you notice we don't have anything marked, only show listings that, and you have your choices. I don't worry about that or mess with it. And the reason I don't is because of down here, the additional listing display. So again, you have to make a decision. Show my listings as well as listings from other sources. We say yes, but the only other source is our office. Now, when I showed Diana's page earlier and it had featured listings, all she had was the one listing on there. So when you're updating this, when you're doing this, you need to decide what you want to do, because that's what's going to carry over to your website. When you look at, I think it was Terry's website, there's absolutely no listings on that website. When you look at, this one was blank. Norma's, there's no listings on the website. Look at Sarah's, there's no listings on the website. But when you look here, Cecilia has featured listings, and you can see the Remax Elite. And that's exactly what I'm telling you. That's exactly what I would do on this one to make sure that we have it set up accordingly. And then I'm talking about right here. Show my listings as well as listings from my office. We marked yes. Questions? All right. So here, right here at the bottom where it says Trek Notice, this is where you have to upload the Trek Notice. And the way you do that is you just print it. You go into zip form, whatever. Zip form, for example, you go into zip form, you create it, you save it in Google Drive, Dropbox, wherever. Then you come over here and you upload it so that it's ready to go. That has to be there before the top of the website here allows you to publish. Right here where it says your website is published. If you go into yours and that Trek information about mortgage services is not up there, if you have not uploaded it, it will not allow you to publish until you upload it, because the system, Remax, knows that's required by law. Right? So you cannot publish your website without it. Everybody good there? Again, that was the settings, and it's at the very bottom for that website. Questions? No? All right, so I'm going to go up this a little bit. Here's the domain manager. How many of you have your own URL already? And Michelle, you sent me yours. You're using Remax as well?
Yes.
I thought I had yours. Yes, I do. Why didn't that? Did not open that up. For some reason, it copied it. It's crazy. Trying to open it up from an Excel spreadsheet, and what it did was it opened up another one. So again, you're using the .remax.com, which is okay. But if you have, let me go ahead and open this one up right here, because I think she had another one too. Oh, Carla has something. Okay. I saw like on Michelle's here, you have your social media connected to it. You have the featured listings, and it looks like you went with just the company as well. Get the app. You can take that block out, or you can leave it in there to push it out there. And so your Trek information about mortgage services is going to be loaded, or it wouldn't have allowed you to publish that where we could see that. Okay. Cool. So when you're in here working on this, if you have your own domain name, you can actually, that's what this does. It's on your website, it's domain manager. You can actually upload or point this website to your domain, or your domain to this website, and make that work. This tells us how to do it. This is the one when I did this one, I read through this. thought I understood it, but didn't want to mess it up because I had a website running and I wanted to point it over to this one so I could kill this one and or shut it down. And I didn't want to mess things up and end up with no website, right? Because that's, to me, it's probably one of the worst things. So I walked through it, looking at it, and I was like, yeah, let me just call GoDaddy. We have our domain names with GoDaddy, which is one of the places you can get them. If you have a domain you want to add in there, just click on the right-hand side and you can add the domain in, and so purchase the domain name and then go in here and get it. What I wanted to show you today, and we talked about this before a little bit for some of us, is if you go to get.realtor, you actually can purchase domain names. You can have your name.realtor, that's your domain, or you can have .real estate, whichever you choose. Just like right here, it's jennyprice.realtor. That could be your domain name. And I could come back here and plug that in right here as add a domain name and make that mine and put it on this website. And if anything ever happens, I decide to become a broker, I want to go out on my own, I want to go to another company, whatever it is, I own that domain name. The website's just going to go away, right? I still have that domain name, which is still going to carry a little bit of weight because that domain name's already been established. Does that make sense? So beneficial to you is get that created. And here, what makes it so cool is that when we look at pricing, once again, as a new agent, you can get your name.realtor for free for the first year. And then after that, it's $39 a year. Or you can get .real estate. And Carla Miller actually went out and got hers. She has carlamiller.realtor is what she's using on hers. But she didn't put it on this website because what they do, they are also offering right now a bonus. If you get this, you also get a free website with it. So you get 1 year free and you get a website off of it. So that's the way she went. So now she has two. She has carlamiller.realtor, and then she also has the Remax one running, which is what we were doing before. All right, that's on the domain name side of it. So you can think about that, make that work. We did that one. Here's the reviews. You can actually add reviews. So here's some food for thought. Like Michelle, you have yours already done. And in here, there's not any reviews. We could use some, right? It's just showing a blank spot here.
Yes, we could use some.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. The whatever you did before, if you can get anything in writing from somebody and them saying it's okay. In one of the classes, maybe last month, for the company, I showed them my stuff from '97, where I actually had a brochure done. What I did was I reached out to a colonel that I used to work for and one of the parents that I worked with at the Marine Military Academy and said, hey, this is what you've written about me before. Is it okay if I use this for marketing in my real estate business? And they both said yes. So I actually took their comments and put that on my brochure, like a marketing piece, right? To use that. So that's something you could actually post in here. If you had something from them in writing and they say it's okay, that's why I was trying to show you earlier. On here, you can actually add manual reviews. Was it a 5-star? And who it came from would be them, right? And just click add. And at least that'll get some of them out there for you so you have some reviews going. Any questions there? Anybody? All right, so then we go into the templates. This is going to be your website templates. You can use what's here. They're here for a reason, and I'll show you another way to use them. But this can work for you in putting it on your website, like charitable causes, seller's guide. I'll show you how those work in a second. That's your templates, your navigation. This is your page. This is how everything is laid out on your website. Sort of like an outline in high school, right? So you break it down and you can just drag and drop these. You do not have to sweat it. They're real easy to work with. If for some reason I wanted about me up here, I can just grab it and move it up here, right? And it's so easy to work with. This system is absolutely awesome to work with. And if it's something on the right-hand side, I can just grab it and move it over here and it'll put it in there for you. So many options to work with. And that's working the navigation page so you can see how it's laid out. But what I want to do right here is I'm going to go into where it says Agent Social Layout. So this is what the beginning of the site looks like, right? Now, when I showed you, this is for site Valley Foreclosure, right? So this is where we're at. This is the one within the system. Mon Bouge, right? Close that one. You see the blocks on the left-hand side? And for those of you that have not done this, this is another really cool part about this. You can add or take away from this. You can fine tune it in most areas. One of the areas where we cannot is right here where it says bio, option 1. I cannot change these details because those are the details that come from Max Center. Remember, that's where we started out with the profile. And I talked about getting your designations, your languages, all that stuff done. Put all that stuff in there. Go to remax.net, log in, click on your photo, get that profile set up, make sure it has everything you need, because that's where it's going to pull this stuff from to work on that particular block, which is your bio. Now on some of these others, and I am going to use, Michelle, is it okay if I use yours since you're here? Just use it as a guide? Okay. All right, so let's see where I'm at on this one. I'm going to go back and forth between these two and work with. So here at the top, here at the top, you see on this one that we have with my wife, for example, it has the header, slideshow, and search with a search, right? This is the search. So when they come to her website, they can actually, that's what they have. You can do a search from right here, which is what they're going to the website for most of the time. Just like Cecilia has it set up for sellers, she does primarily buyers. So you want that search up front right there real quick. Now, the only problem with that is this header says Denver. So we might want to change that, right? On the one Michelle has, she has changed that. But she also doesn't have a search bar up here. And that search bar is just a block that can be added to that. And the way you add it is when you're looking at this, I'm going to go back and forth from these. This is going to drive somebody nuts. So just bear with me just a few minutes here. Right here at the top, you see where this says header, image, slideshow. So here's the image. So we can change the images out. We can add an image if we wanted to. So we can choose an image from here if we wanted to. You guys are seeing that? Yes? Okay, good. We can add an image from here, or we can go to Canva and create our own image and upload it. But you want to put something in there that works for you. In fact, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and do that right quick. Yeah, nothing looks like the valley. That's not good. Yeah, we'll do it later. So that's on the image side of this. And again, you could also move them around which order. If you had more images than one, you could actually put that in there as well. And And remember the ad on that was at the bottom. So if I click on it, that's the edit. I can add to the bottom. Oops, there we go. I can add at the bottom. You also have block content on here. And on some of those, when you click on the, or I'm sorry, block details. When you click on the block details, it'll tell you what you have here and the default. So we can go with a single grid width, a full width, large, whatever you want, or they go with just stay with default, which is what it was set on. So you can make changes here as well on this. It's all up to you in getting it set up. All right, so I'm going to pick this up just real quick. I want to show you just a couple little things. When we were talking about the when we're looking at social media, for example, this is where your social media sites would be at. And this is for your website. These are the ones you'd use for your website. The other area was for on remax.net, the referral network, global referrals, somebody trying to find you that way. You want to be able to pop up there, right? So all social media needs to be there. If you put that in your profile here, when you come in and set things up, it brings it over, right? So you have that opportunity to use it. She is using just the Remax profile here, where on the other one, she had her Facebook profile and I think her Instagram set up on it. But you can add all these. Where it's red at, you can turn it on, but when you do, you're going to have to actually either put yours in or again, go with the Remax one, right? And then save the changes at the bottom. So you'll see their Pinterest will show up here now on this one. Down at the bottom here, if we wanted to add, let's see, videos, for example, here on the left-hand side, you have a chance to have a video. This is the Remax video. If you wanted to take something else, let's say you did a short video on your mission statement. Like, for example, our mission statement is based on the golden rule. Our job is to learn as much about real estate as we can so that we can help as much as we can. Our focus is you. You're the reason we're in the business. If you did a video, something like that, you can save it on YouTube and then put the link in here. It'll actually use, besides YouTube, you have the other options there. But you can plug that link in here and then save that channel. Save that change, and it would show up here on your website. And then you also have at the bottom of this website, we have a contact form here. That's something we added, something you can add in there. I think Michelle had that too. Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to add just a couple things just to show you how this other part of this works. When it comes to adding the blocks on the left-hand side, you choose what you want and where you want it at. So I'm going to add home valuation. I'm going to do that by clicking it. So what is your home worth? I clicked it twice. So now we got to go back up here. And go to block content. Let's see. 2. Let's see. You see I have home valuation on there twice. I'm going to take one of those out. Right. So now I have home valuation on here, but it's at the bottom. I don't want it at the bottom. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to move it up here by the bio. So now when I come in here to take a look at it, the home valuation is right below. So here's where they can do a search for properties, and here's where they can do a valuation for what is my home worth in today's market. So they can plug that in real quick. If you don't like that location, you can move it, put it somewhere else. That's always your option. And then you can actually edit this with the block details. This thing seems to be moving. Just slow. There you go. And how do you want the layout? You want it centered? You want it full? Right? We're on full. We'll go centered. Do it like that. Save the changes. Save. I want to show you, there's so much in here when you talk about adding a block to this. And every one of these blocks adds to the page, or you can add to that. Remember, I had the navigation page earlier, so you can click over and take a look at that and see where you're at and make changes there as well. But one of the other ones that's on here that I wanted to touch base on was what's the quick search. This is the quick search here. That's one of the boxes that's there. You got the reviews. So if you have Zillow account set up, but it's not a paid, it doesn't have to be a paid account. Whatever your screen name is here, you can add that in and then go back and link it where we're talking about over here on your website. Where are we at? Here. So that everything gets linked together. Wow, now we got more of them in there. But you can link Zillow over to that website so that you have that on here if that's something you wanted to do. So you pull those reviews in that you may have on Zillow if you have any out there. But every one of these blocks will add something to this. All right, what questions do you guys have? Anybody? No questions?
What trick notices do we have to add on our website? I was seeing that you have to add them. Is it like the consumer protection notice and the IBS?
Right, it's just the information about brokerage service. The consumer protection notice will already be there, but just upload the information about brokerage services. That's all you want to upload. Okay, and I say that because I actually had at one point on hers I had both of them in there because I didn't know any better when I first started messing with this. And down on the bottom, it actually showed the two pages ran together, which is not what you want to do either. All you need is the track page. That's it. And that'll come from your website settings, and just scroll down here and upload the ABS, not the consumer notice. Any other questions on this one? So like on this particular website, there's 17 different options on it that you can choose to go with, or you can add a page even on top of that if you wanted to. I have some in here that we played around with, like we have the Harlingen page. And the Harlingen page is designed, let me open it up real quick for you. What I did was I put a page in here just for Harlingen. And again, it depends on how you have it set up and what you're doing with it. But I have this one set up so it has the school district links, the VA, the tax office, appraisal office, city's website. Those are all in here. So just made this like an extra block or an extra page, if you will, on that website. So you can do all kinds of things with this. There's all opportunities with this thing. It's all yours to do with what you want to on it. I'm going to show you a couple of those little things, and then we'll wrap this up unless you guys have some questions. When if you don't do this get realtor, if you don't go in and get that domain name, I would again recommend you at least, if not now, look at the future, try to get one. It's great if you can make that happen now. It's absolutely great if you make it happen now, because if anything was to happen, you have your domain name. And when I teach some of the advanced classes, I specifically talk about that when we talk about brokerages and building your business, because you don't know what the future brings. You have no idea, right? I spent 8 years with one real estate company. Had planned on staying there, maybe eventually buying part of it or owning part of it. I had all kinds of dreams and aspirations. Didn't work out that way. Realized I didn't want to be involved with that anymore. I didn't like the system. I couldn't get the assistance, couldn't get the help that we needed from them, from the franchise. So we bailed. And when we bailed, I told the broker at 8 o'clock in the morning we were leaving, and at 8:30, my wife had her email all set up with that franchise. And at 8:30, her email was gone. When I told them at 8 o'clock we're leaving, 8:30, her email was gone. So the same thing goes with your domain names. Remax Lead's a little different in the way we handle some of that stuff, but that's why I think it's important you have your own domain name and work from there. All right. And that's just one way. I don't get anything out of this other than sharing it with you and how you can make that work. The other thing I want to share with you this morning is there's a website called Social Marketing Nut. Social Marketing Nut. I'll throw that in the chat for you, so you have that. And on this site, this lady actually does, she's tied with Remax. She actually does this part of her business, Booge websites, and she'll actually set them up for you. Now, of course, that's not free, right? The basic site's $500, and then it goes 800, then it goes to 1200 for a platinum site. But the platinum site has 12 hyper locals pages. I don't know that we need that. Maybe the 6 would work, but certainly the 5 would be better than nothing. And she knows this is what she does as a part of her business, so she's pretty good about it. Sue Ann Tolbert did this in Harlingen. Let's try to find a website. Maybe not. Nope, that's not her. Wrong one. Anyway, Suzanne did it, and her website is really nice looking. It has a lot of bells and whistles, really smooth. But you can do the same thing. It just takes a little bit of time to get it set up. That's all. But this lady will do it. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. Down here on the bottom is tips and tutorials. So some of the things like adding the valuation block and things like that, that's where I got them from, was from right here. So that you can go in and take care of that. And it's free. That part of it's all free, right? You can go in and watch the videos, and she has several of them in here that you can watch. Not to be used for resale purposes, right? She has graphics, she has all kinds of things in here you can use. And then this is from her blog. Her focus is on Booge or the Remax system. She is not an employee of Remax. She's an agent. This is what she does on her own. And she can certainly, like I said, she has quite a bit of content in here that can help you get things set up if you have questions about it. In addition to what we covered. Anybody have any questions or comments? Nope. All right. Well, I certainly hope you